It started with a note. Just a damn sticky note on the fridge, written in his chicken scratch handwriting, like I meant less than a grocery list. I'm free now. Don't call me. At first, I thought it was a joke. Some kind of stupid prank or dramatic tantrum. But the apartment was half empty. His clothes, his tools, his MacBook, his stupid Dodgers cap, all gone. He took the dog too. Diesel. My dog. I collapsed in the middle of our kitchen floor in complete silence, trying to wrap my head around it. Just 72 hours earlier, I had wired over $114,000, the last of my inheritance from my grandmother's estate, into an account we opened together. He said we were investing in our future. A yacht. He found this deal through a guy he knew in Miami. A second-hand Sunseeker Predator. Still pristine, still luxury. He said, you and me, baby. Fort Lauderdale life, ocean sunsets, boat parties. We'll charter it, flip it, live like kings. He always knew how to make it sound like magic. But the seller wouldn't deal with him. Something about bad credit. So guess whose name ended up on the loan? Mine. I should have seen it then. 3 weeks earlier, I was sitting on the floor of our apartment in Fort Myers, Florida, printing out bank statements, scribbling on sticky notes, sipping wine straight from the bottle. That inheritance, it was supposed to be my safety net. Something my grandma left me when she passed last year. I told myself it was sacred, but Gabe had other ideas. He crouched beside me, kissed my cheek, and said, you're playing scared, babe. You know how many people double their money on luxury boats in a charter game? Especially down here? You trust me or not? I said yes. Like an idiot. Gabe was slick. Everyone thought so. He worked in consulting, which mostly meant he worked at a bar part-time and pitched side hustles full-time. I fell for him at a food truck festival. He made me laugh when I was crying into a plate of burrito tacos over my ex-Gabe made promises. I wanted to believe them. And now, I was alone in our apartment, holding a Post-it, in debt. It got worse when I opened Instagram. The first video was on her story, some woman I didn't even know. Blonde, tall, looked like a filtered sorority queen. She was giggling, holding champagne, panning her camera over a very familiar boat. Can't believe he surprised me with this. It's so us. I'm obsessed. I stared, frozen. I recognized the interior, the gray leather seats, the exact champagne bottle I bought with him. Moat. She panned the camera to him. Gabe, shirtless, smiling, arm around her. He kissed her forehead and said, loud and clear, this is all yours now, baby. I sat there for 5 minutes, just blinking. Then I refreshed the page. Blocked. His account? Gone. Hers? Blocked me too. I was shaking, not crying, not yelling, just pure adrenaline. Then came the real punch, the call from the bank. I had missed a payment. Ma'am, your monthly installment on the yacht is past due. It's a secured loan. If we don't resolve this soon, you risk default and repossession. I don't have a boat, I snapped. It was stolen. Was there a police report? No, because I trusted him, because I was a damn fool. The boat wasn't even reported missing, because technically it wasn't. It was in my name, so no one cared that he took it, that he flaunted it online with someone else, that I was stuck paying $2,600 a month on a luxury yet I'd never see again. The final insult? She posted a reel 2 days later. A slow-motion walk across the dock in some flowy white beach dress, wind in her hair, and dangling from her neck, my grandmother's diamond necklace. The one I told Gabe never to touch. The one she left me in her will. That necklace had been in my family for 4 generations. The caption? Some girls get flowers. I get fleets. I nearly threw my phone through the window. The betrayal wasn't just financial. It was personal. They didn't just take money. They erased me, blocked me, ghosted me. Then 2 weeks later, I got served with a lawsuit. They were suing me over harassment because I emailed the marina requesting proof of ownership and warned them about stolen property. Gabe's new girlfriend, whose name turned out to be Delaney Brooks, filed for a restraining order. I wasn't even allowed within 500 feet of the dock without risking arrest. They had money for lawyers. Probably mine. But they forgot one thing. The yacht? It was still in my name, registered under my social. I started digging. Every night after my shift at the salon, I researched boat registration laws in Florida, federal maritime rules, repossession clauses. I spoke to 3 different lawyers. I read every contract I'd signed. They were careless, and I was furious. I found a loophole, a powerful one, so I paid off 1 month to buy time. Then filed for a title transfer under disputed possession. Froze the marina's access to the vessel. Changed the registration. Reclaimed the deed. In secret. Then I waited, because they had just announced a big celebration cruise. Open bar, guests, influencers, a local DJ. They were going all out, and I was about to go nuclear. I found out about the yacht party from TikTok. Some mutual friend of a friend shared it. At Delaney B was throwing her golden nautical bash for her 26th birthday. They even had a dumb little theme: champagne, chains, and chaos. Real original. I watched the video 10 times. Gabe was in the background, wearing a white linen shirt wide open to his chest, like he thought he was in a music video. Her? She was dripping in gold, fake mostly, except for one piece. That necklace. Every time I saw it around her neck, it felt like my grandmother was being dragged through the mud. But I didn't react. Not publicly. Not emotionally. I planned. First, I visited the Lee County Clerk's office. I had already frozen the boat's registration, but I needed more. I filed a notice of lien on the yacht, citing breach of trust, and claimed personal property stored on board. That included the necklace. I also quietly reached out to the Fort Myers Marina Authority, gave them the updated documentation showing I was the legal owner again, and filed a hold request. If the vessel attempted to leave the dock, I wanted to be notified. The clerk barely blinked. This kind of petty war probably happened all the time in Florida. Next, I rented a van. Plain white. Tinted windows. Out-of-state plates. I wasn't about to storm a party uninvited. No, I was going to take back what was mine, publicly, legally, and in the most humiliating way possible. The night of the party, I parked 2 blocks away and waited. I could see the marina lights from my spot. The yacht was docked at the very end, sloppy as always. Music was blasting. Laughter echoed across the water. Champagne corks popped. People in sequin swimsuits stumbled around with glowing drinks. It was all so loud. I put on a hoodie, pulled my hair back tight, and walked toward the pier like I belonged there. There were 2 security guys, but they were more like frat bros with walkie-talkies. They didn't even glance at me. I slipped behind the yacht's neighboring boat, crouched, and waited. Then I made the call. Marina Security Dispatch, Fort Myers. Hi, I said calm and clear. This is Hannah North. I'm the legal owner of vessel FL 8824 HY. There's an unauthorized party taking place on my property. I'm requesting immediate assistance with removal. They asked for verification. I gave them everything. Then I hung up. The response was faster than I expected. 2 marina staff, 1 sheriff's deputy. Not guns drawn, but firm. Serious. They didn't shout. They didn't bang on the side of the boat. They just boarded it. Officially. And everything after that was chaos. I recorded from behind the neighboring boat. Delaney was yelling, barefoot, dripping in tequila and ego. Gabe tried to reason with the officer. It's a mistake, bro. She's just some psycho ex. But the paperwork was airtight. The deputy handed him the notice. This vessel is under disputed ownership. All parties are to vacate, immediately pending civil review. Delaney screamed. You said it was mine. You said it. He stammered. It's complicated. She turned on him fast. You used my birthday to show off stolen property? I could be arrested, Gabe. You said you didn't care. Not if I go viral as a felon. Dumbass. I watched it all like a Netflix drama. Then came the part I've been waiting for. The sheriff stepped off the boat, holding a clear evidence bag. My grandmother's necklace. They asked if it belonged to me. I stepped out from behind the boat and said, yes, it does. Delaney's face went pale. Her? She's the owner. Gabe looked like he'd seen a ghost. What the? How did you? I didn't say a word. Just signed the retrieval form, took the necklace, and walked. By the next morning, the video had hit 75,000 views on TikTok. Side chick gets booted off, yeah, she thought was hers. Comments were brutal. This is why you don't mess with inheritance money. The ex really said Uno reverse. Not him going I'm free and ending up boatless and broke. But it wasn't over yet, because now that I had control of the yacht, I wanted more. I wanted them ruined. Financially. Legally. publicly, and I wasn't even close to done. Gabe tried to play it cool. The morning after the party shut down and the video went viral, he messaged me for the first time in weeks. Not a call, a DM. Okay, we both overreacted. Let's talk. Overreacted? He used my inheritance to play sugar daddy to an Instagram model, dumped me with a sticky note, and left me drowning in debt. Then he sued me when I asked questions. But sure, I overreacted. I didn't answer. He followed up. I just think we should resolve this privately. We both made mistakes. No need for more drama. Translation: he was scared. His face was now in a trending video labeled #YachtFraudBro. Comments were digging into his name, his history, even screenshots of his entrepreneur bio from LinkedIn. Turns out, his past wasn't so squeaky clean. I started digging. With a few hours and a burner Reddit account, I found 2 posts from years back in her /relationships and her /legal advice. Both from women. One said her ex-boyfriend conned her into co-signing a car he never paid for. Same pattern. Promises of future profit. Romance tied into financial pressure. When she tried to back out, he ghosted her and trashed her credit. Another woman from Tampa claimed he used her to invest in a boutique Airbnb empire. Took her money, disappeared, and left her fighting a lien on a condo. The name matched. Gabe T. Ronson. Same photo, same smile, same predator behavior. Now I had a new mission. Expose the pattern. I started a blog. Quick and dirty. Just screenshots, receipts, timelines. I titled it Con of the Coast, My Life with a Yacht Scammer. It wasn't just about revenge anymore. It was about stopping him. I also reached out to the other women I'd found. One of them, her name was Sierra, agreed to talk. We FaceTimed, and she recognized him instantly. He said the same thing to me, about flipping property together, about building an empire. He even used the phrase, our legacy. I nearly dropped my phone. Gabe had script. He targeted women with money or assets, spun romance into business, then dipped before anything came due. Sierra was still in collections for the $9,000 loan she took out in her name for them. I published her story too, with her permission. The blog started getting traffic. Then I got an email from a freelance reporter at a Miami digital magazine. She asked if I go on record. She was working on a piece about romance fraud in Florida. We met in a cafe off Colonial Boulevard. I brought every document I had: loan agreements, registration forms, old texts, screenshots of Delaney's posts, the lawsuit. She was wide-eyed by the end. I thought this was just clickbait drama, she said. But this is actual organized fraud. I nodded. And I'm not his only victim. 2 weeks later, the article dropped. The Yacht Boyfriend Scam. How one woman exposed a South Florida con man. It exploded. Hadjichi, X, Facebook, even local news. But Gabe? He went underground. Delaney, though, cracked. She turned on him fast. Started posting passive-aggressive quotes on her story. Turns out the one who calls everyone else crazy is usually the most dangerous. Just because he bought you a boat doesn't mean he won't throw you overboard. Then she DM'd me. Yep, I didn't know what he did to you. Or the others. He said you were stalking him. I didn't sign up for any of this. I ignored her at first. Then she sent a second message. If you want my help, I still have all his messages. He told me everything. Now, that got my attention. We met at a neutral spot, a public library. She didn't look like her filtered posts. She looked tired. Real. Delaney had screenshots, voice memos, even audio of him admitting the yacht technically wasn't his, but won't matter once the money starts rolling. And the best part? She helped him file the lawsuit against me. That restraining order she filed? Fake. She admitted they never felt threatened. He just said it'd shut me up for a while. That was my silver bullet. I took all of it, her confession, the audio, the texts, and handed it to my attorney. Yes, I had an attorney now. I wasn't playing defense anymore. We filed a countersuit for fraud, defamation, emotional damages, and wrongful litigation. The evidence was rock solid. The restraining order? Tossed. His lawsuit? Dropped. Now, he was the one being served. And I didn't stop there. Remember that yacht? I sold it. Used part of the money to pay off the loan. The rest? Well, that went toward a little project. I rented a billboard. Smack in downtown Fort Myers. It had a photo of the yacht, edited to show me holding the keys. Big bold letters. She got the boat. He got exposed. Small text underneath. Visit conovthecoast.com. Read the truth. Protect yourself. It went viral in a day. And still, I wasn't done. Because Gabe had one last secret. One last lie that even Delaney didn't know about. Something buried in the yacht storage unit that wasn't in my inventory list. And when I found it, let's just say, the real storm started. The storage unit was in a sketchy part of town, just off Fowler Street, near the industrial rail line. I'd only found out about it after receiving a late bill addressed to me. Apparently, the yacht had a storage locker attached to its marina rental, and it was also in my name. I had never been there, never even knew it existed. The moment I stepped in, I realized why he kept it hidden. Boxes, labeled with fake business names. Ronson Charters, Atlantic Legacy Holdings, GTR Capital. Stacks of cheap printed business cards. And used promo materials. Flyers advertising exclusive yacht nights that were never real. And then, in a locked file cabinet, I found it, a ledger. Handwritten. Sloppy. But damning. It listed names. Women's names. First names, last initials, dates, rough dollar amounts. It wasn't just me or Sierra. There were over a dozen names. Ashley M., $6,000 Vanessa C., $18,400 Dana P., $22,000 Hannah N., $114,000. He had been running the same scam for years. Each one, the same formula. Charm, love bombing, joint investments, disappear. Sometimes he reused the same business name twice. Sloppy. And next to some of the names? Asterisks. Notes like still in contact, pending, or ghosted. This wasn't a guy who got in over his head. This was a full-blown pattern. A one-man Ponzi scheme built on broken hearts. I sent the whole file to my lawyer, and to the reporter, and, yeah, to the IRS. Because the dollar amounts in that ledger, unreported income. My attorney filed an amended lawsuit. Now we weren't just claiming fraud. We were accusing him of running an unlicensed fraudulent investment scheme. Florida doesn't play around with that kind of thing. Gabe must have known the walls were closing in because he disappeared again. Phone disconnected. Socials wipat. He left Fort Myers. But we weren't done. Because of the title deed and civil claims, we got a court order to freeze his bank accounts. And then one of the other women, Dana, found his Venmo handle. He was using it under a fake name, Grant T. Rivers. But he'd been getting paid from new victims. Still running the game, just under another alias. We turned it in. Then something I didn't expect happened. I got a call from a U.S. postal inspector. Apparently, Gabe had committed mail fraud. He used multiple fake addresses on loan applications, and one of the women he scammed used postal services to wire him funds for a license application. It qualified as a federal offense. I was stunned. This wasn't just civil anymore. It was becoming criminal. A month later, I watched Gabe get arrested in Orlando, outside a strip mall gym. It was caught on someone's dash cam. He was wearing that same stupid Dodgers cap. That video made it to TikTok, too. Yacht man gets cuffed in Crocs. The comments were glorious. She really sank his whole fake empire. He said, "I'm free," and ended up in jail. Florida never disappoints. Delaney testified, by the way, in exchange for immunity. She gave up everything. How he coached her to lie in court, how he forged parts of our investment docs, how he bragged about playing rich girls. And me? I sat in the courtroom, necklace around my neck, watching him squirm in a cheap suit with public defenders. I didn't smile. I didn't need to. The judge hit him with 6 felony counts: fraud, forgery, wire fraud, and conspiracy. Sentencing was pending. But even if he got out early, he was ruined. As for me, I sold the blog for $50,000. Used it to pay off the last of the yacht loan. I went back to school, part-time, studying business law. Because after all this, I knew damn well I'd never let someone take advantage of me again. But wait, I said there was one last twist. One last betrayal I didn't see coming. Something hidden in the back of that storage unit, sealed in an envelope marked for emergency only. Well, I found in there. It changed everything. Even now, I'm not sure if I should burn it or use it. The envelope was thick, yellowed at the edges, taped shut. On the front, in Gabe's messy, all-caps writing, "For emergency only. Destroy if you have to run." At first, I didn't want to touch it. I thought maybe it was drugs, or cash, or something worse. But curiosity won. I peeled it open with a letter opener and dumped the contents onto the workbench. And my heart nearly stopped. Passports. 3 of them. All with Gabe's photo. All under different names. One said Thomas G. Rayner. Another said Gregory Tillman. The third? Jordan R. Fields. Inside each passport were slips of paper, foreign bank account details, shell company names, flight logs. And tucked between them was a flash drive. No label. No markings. Just a tiny black USB. I took it home, plugged it into my laptop on a secure network, thanks to a friend from Reddit who worked in IT. The contents? An Excel spreadsheet. Names. Numbers. Balances. IP addresses. International transfers. He wasn't just scamming women for yachts and weekend yachts. He had been laundering money. I cross-referenced some of the company names. Offshore LLCs, Panama-based shell corporations. One was flagged on a sanctions list. That when it hit me, Gabe was connected to something bigger. I took everything to the postal inspector, who handed me off to a federal agent. This wasn't just fraud now. This was federal financial crime. Wire fraud, tax evasion, international money laundering. The kind of stuff that doesn't get you probation, it gets you years. The agents asked how I found it. I told them everything, slow, detailed, no emotion. They asked if I'd testify again. I said yes. 6 months later, I was flown to Washington, D.C. for a federal deposition. By then, Gabe had already been sentenced on the Florida charges, 7 years in prison, no parole. But with the new evidence, the Fed slapped 3 more federal indictments on him. He was looking at an additional 12 to 15 years. This wasn't some ex-boyfriend revenge story anymore. It was a fraud takedown, a case study. They even thanked me. Said my documentation, persistence, and blog helped them connect dots they hadn't before. One of the agents called me the nail in the coffin. Gabe tried one last time. He wrote me a letter from prison. It arrived in a plain envelope. No return address. Just a printed sheet of paper. You ruined everything. I could have taken care of you. You chose war. I didn't reply. I framed it. Hung it in my home office next to the necklace and a printed copy of the billboard. I didn't choose war. I chose myself. As for Delaney, she ended up moving to Arizona. Started a wellness coaching business. Last I heard, she's still posting affirmations while drinking smoothies in the desert. We don't talk, but she never blocked me again. Sierra, Dana, and I stayed in touch. We even created a private group chat, Con Club Survivors. Sometimes we joke about writing a book. Sometimes we just vent. People ask me now if I regret anything. I don't. He stole my money, my trust, and nearly my future. But I got it back. Every single piece. The yacht? Sold. The necklace? Back where it belongs. The debt? Cleared. The con man? Caged. And me? Free. For real this time.